Hello class, my name is Shakinda Dickens, and today I would like to talk to you about voting and why it is important for you to vote. These polls are ready. It is November. November is the season for the election year. We're voting for our president, city and state officials. Those city and state officials are people who come from our communities. We're all people. We all have needs, and we all deserve quality of life, which is the right to live free, the right to choose what we want to do with our lives and how we want to live, but also the right to be clean and ensure the safety of ourselves and our families. Now, we elect these officials as people to represent us in our communities, people who care about us because they're one of us. We're all people, so we all deserve the same thing. Now, we deserve to be free from harm. We deserve to be free from under someone else's authority because we're born for ourselves. So we have our rights. Election year is so important because if your president does not represent your needs as a country, the country's gonna fall. We need to ensure the quality of life by making sure that our food is clean. We trade with other countries, merchandise, materials, spices, and we need to make sure that it's all safe and free from harm. So we have laws and acts put in place by our leaders who oversee all of these things while we work a regular life. Whether we're at home working with our children, we're on a farm farming crops, or we're in the House of Senate speaking about laws to ensure the quality of our lives. It is very important for you to vote because you want the person that represents your community to represent you and your thoughts of how you think the best way to live would be to be fair, to be free from discrimination, racism, and to seek justice when others do bad things or others, bring harm to your community or to your business and so forth. So you have that right to vote for someone who's going to respect you and care about you. This country is way big. Everyone cannot speak at one time. So that's why we have created a government system where we have leaders, chosen leaders by you and where you live to represent your needs in a building called the House of Senate. They discuss bills, laws, and all of that is to ensure our quality of life. I say the quality of life because it is primitive. It's vital for us to survive, to live here on this earth. The United Nations is a government of all the countries combined to ensure that quality of life for the whole world. Now, we don't vote for the whole world. We vote for America, our American leaders. You want someone who's going to represent fairness, who's going to treat everyone equally. Unless they've committed a crime, then they go to the court of law. And that's where we seek justice. The crime should fit the time. There are people out here who commit murder, who are out on the streets, and less time than there are people who have done drugs or stolen food just because they were hungry. They did drugs because they were depressed. Those people are not as dangerous as the murderers and the rapists in this country. It's sad to say within the communities and the cities and states, but the world is full of good. The world is full of bad too. So it's important for you to vote, to voice your opinion in those areas and needs that we need to take a closer look into to keep us protected. When it comes to food, water that we eat and drink, we need laws and regulations to make sure that people don't damage or harm the food that we put in our bodies. See, there's farming all over the world, not just in America. So we have people put in places to make sure that they're not sending any poisons over in the food and whatnot. Or poisons are used just to kill off plants and weeds and rodents to protect us. All these things are necessary to ensure the quality of life, from clean air. You want someone to make sure that nobody's going to set fires on a daily basis so you could breathe properly, so you could live your life. This country is innovative. We've created technologies to do greater things. We've created technology for a faster process to create things such as farming, water system, recycling, to help stop the pollution, because the pollution is what destroys the earth, and if it destroys the earth, then it destroys us. So you want to elect an official who's going to pay attention to all these things, and that's why the government works as a collective. Our community leaders work for our community. They help with the city officials, the senators, the mayors, and they work with the state representatives, which are the senators, to make sure that in common ground, like familiarities with commonness for other states, that we're all thought of, heard of, and created equal. So it's very important for you to vote. Once upon a time, women couldn't vote. But we went to the House, and I'm going to say we because I'm a woman and it was my ancestors, or just for women, period. But they went, and even men represented women, and said that's not fair that women can't vote when they're the ones who bear the children, the man-child, to sit here and think that they can create all these laws and tell us what we can and cannot do. Women stood against it. Men stood with us. And we have the right to vote. We have the right to be heard. Why? Because we're human beings, and it was unfair for them not to allow a woman to vote when they created this government. It was once upon a time where peoples of different ethnic backgrounds and cultures could not vote, but they were born right here in America. Blacks, Native Americans, who this country belonged to first, but we're all people, so this world belongs to all of us. So to be by us, because no one was born in this country alone. The population is where it is today because we all depend on each other for survival. You're a mechanic. You're a doctor. You're a lawyer. You're a mother. You're a farmer. Each and every one of you need each other in order to survive, because someone does one job better than the other. Someone may understand how to do one job and not the other. And that is why we need each other to survive. We are to care for each other, uplift each other, and make sure that we are all safe and sound. Now, in order to keep that going, we need to vote. We need to vote for a leader that's going to stand up for justice and stand up for equality of life. Right now, minimum wage is low. The cost of living is high. How are you going to survive and feed your children when some of these people with minimum wage jobs that we actually need in America can barely afford to pay rent, which means they can barely afford to eat? So how are they going to survive? But who else is going to do that job? And when that business goes out, what are those other people in higher places going to do? What are people, the doctors and lawyers, what are they going to do? What are they going to eat for these food industries? These are necessities that it comes to think about. when it's time to vote. You want someone who cares for you, not someone who's going to be greedy and just try to make business deals with other companies, because these companies wouldn't survive if it wasn't for the people, the public, the lower and the middle class. Now, the higher class, that's another realm. But the higher class wouldn't be where it is today without the lower and the middle class. See, we all depend on each other. So we all need to vote. Vote for your voice to be heard, for your community, for your family, for your quality of life. Thank you. Y'all have a blessed day.